Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, it feels so good to be back. My God. So I appreciate everyone. I really am so happy to be back. And it's funny because when I was on jury duty, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to share this. I can't wait to share this. I can't wait to share this. And of course, it's jury duty. You're not allowed to share any of that. It's like a felony. But everyone shares what they do on jury duty. Like, this is what the person did. But we don't have that luxury because everything that we share is seen 7, 8, 9,000 times. So in a really weird way, a total complimentary way towards us, we got to keep it a secret. So I can't even tell you if the person was guilty or innocent. But I can tell you I'm very happy to be back here. With that being said, God, many times you walk around life and you're like, oh, God, could this get any tougher? Well, I felt like when I said that, God saw that as a challenge and he decided like, yeah, Aunt, it could, watch this. So we have a 104 fever for our 15-month son. We have a 1-month girl who, by all accounts, just cries every 2 hours. My wife is just merged her company, so she's having to move back and forth things, but was unable to do that because I was in jury duty all the last 2 days. So today's the first day, but our son's home from school because he's sick and he's just slept in our bed all night, woke up didn't even sleep, right? But also broke your heart because he couldn't breathe. All you heard was, so today is, but the show has to go on, right? Hey, Frida. Hey, Justin. The definition of RHINO is you go forward. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. You go forward. That's it. There's never going to be a time that a day is going to pass where I'm going to say, oh my God, we did nothing. In fact, when I was sitting in jury duty, I took a look around the room and I was like, okay, I'm here, right? Like, what can we gain out of this? What can RHINO gain out of this? And what you quickly find out when doing jury duty is you're amongst your peers. Not your peers in terms of demographic, not your peers in terms of income, not your peers in terms of hobby, but just your peers as humans. And it's funny because, the saying, you are who you surround yourself with, is very true, right? Like, you're never going to see a homeless person that all of his friends are CEOs. It doesn't happen, right? The CEOs would eventually rub off on the homeless person, or the homeless person would eventually rub off on them. Like, you are who you're friends with if you continue being friends with them. So in life, when you go from place to place, everyone that you engage with is somewhat like you because they're your friends. You are around like people. And although RHINO has made the most, I don't want to overstate things, but the way we built RHINO was, let's use the word illegal, right? Like, that's a really bad word, but completely against all the rules. Because we did cold email on active campaign, because we knew how to go ahead and, if you want to opt out, rather than pressing opt out, you had to put your email in, which meant you didn't write that the person spammed you, just want to get out of it. And of course, the other side of that is write friendly messages, write something that's open, don't offend anyone, and make sure that when someone opts out, you do it immediately. So yes, we made a business, or at least built a business, on knocking on people's doors that didn't know we were coming. But upon them saying, hey, don't go to our door anymore, we said, oh my God, I'm so sorry, never. And they're like, okay, great, like, that was a nice person. The point being, the amount of time it takes to go ahead and pursue that is a lot. Like, no one just does that. But in doing so, you have the most diverse audience ever. Because the way we went ahead and found people's emails was using Google. We'd go to Google and put in parentheses, do we have a script email on which to add our link? Frida, we will by the end of today. I'm doing all of that today, so sorry, I will get to that, I promise. We would go to email and in parentheses put at AOL.com, end parentheses, new parentheses, at gmail.com, end parentheses. And by doing so and pressing search, and then we would go toggle extra filters and put just show results for the last 24 hours. What that did was any page that had those 4 emails at AOL, at Gmail, at Yahoo, at Hotmail.com, it had to have all of those on the page, which meant more times than not, it was a list of some sort. Maybe it was, an event or attendee list or whatever. And it was posted within the last 24 hours, which meant it was real. It just happened. Those were good emails. It did not matter what country they came from. It did not matter what gender, what anything. All that mattered was that they were a legit email in the last 24 hours in this globe. So we really do have the most diverse audience ever. Okay, be that as it may, what's the point, Anthony? Well, like anything else where you are who you're friends with, Rhino is Rhino, right? Just because we really went ahead and touched the most diverse ability ever does not mean everyone here believes in different things. In fact, everyone in Rhino believes in Rhino, but they come from different backgrounds, which is great because as we collect advice from everyone, we're able to make sure that we represent all backgrounds of all people, which is really good for marketing, right? Because if we could put up a marketing message that all of our rhinos have shared with us, then that should be conducive to everyone out there. But what were we missing? We're missing something really big. Everyone in Rhino wants to be entrepreneurs. Everyone in Rhino wants to progress in internet marketing. Everyone in Rhino knows something of the internet and believes that this is the place to be. That's everyone of Rhino. And to me, that sounds like it should be everyone in the world. Well, I'll tell you something. When you sit on jury duty and you take a look around, I was thinking to myself, like pitching myself as if I was talking to any of these individuals. You're your own business, even if you own your own business, whether you sell your labor to an employer or you sell your talents to customers, which is true. I believe that. I believe if you go ahead and get hired by Target, you are representing your body and you're selling your labor to them. That's your business, and this is the transaction. In their world, they call it an employee, but they don't own you. You can walk out at any time you want. There's no shackles on you. You can leave and go somewhere else. You can take your talents somewhere else. You can take your business anywhere you want. And I believe that by allowing people to understand that you own your own business, even if you're selling your labor, that everyone could be their own business, right? Like I believe in a world where everyone represents themselves, where an employer could say, hey, Mr. Jones, I see that you've done really, really well in A, B, and C. A lot of people like you because you represent yourself. Your search listing has a lot of good speak or whatever. We'd like to offer you a position, right? Or that Mr. Jones could say, well, I grew up working at places and now I want to teach others. I run a consulting agency. But that person would have that ability because they were recognized for their talents as owning their body rather than being a good employee. There's a big difference between being a good employee and being a successful business owner, right? So that's the world I believe in. And I've always believed that any place I ever worked, and maybe because all the places I worked were commission oriented, where my paycheck was what I did. I represented myself. And I believe that for those that don't have that animal spirit or that do not choose to have that volatility in their life, they accept a wage job because they say, well, this is fair. This represents my talents. And I have the comfort of knowing I'm going to get paid. And that's totally cool. But if that person wanted a commission job, conceivably, if they worked to the best of their ability, would they make more? And the answer is yes. Well, why is the answer yes? Because the person that's paying you the salary is also assuming that you're trading in for the currency of comfort. So they could undersell you, right? Like if you're worth 10 an hour, but you want a guarantee, well, you'll take 9 an hour because it's guaranteed. There's no volatility in it. So as an employee, you're always underpaid. It's just, that's the math of it. So if we were able to go ahead and allow employees to know that they are their own businesses and be represented as such, well, we could really raise the income for everyone. The point of the story is, as I'm rehearsing this in my head, I look around and I go, wow, we really missed something. The majority of people don't actually care. The majority of people, they find complacency in their 9-to-5 job. and I'm talking about the people that don't like it. They like talking poorly about their boss. They like being in a room where if something happens, they snicker to each other. They like engaging with each other and finding a pretty girl to text or a cool guy to, shoot the SHIT with. They find camaraderie in being disenfranchised. They're okay with that. They've accepted it. The common person has accepted that they're defeated, that they do not have wings that can fly, that it's been clipped, and they're resentful for it. They honestly believe every offer to them is simply someone else taking advantage of them because everyone had taken advantage of them. Every single person has taken advantage of the common person, the person that's at the low rung, that has a limited education or a limited fighting ability, but more so just the regular person that said, I want to grow up and just be treated fairly and do a hard job or do hard work, has been taken advantage of over and over and over. And there's and I'll take myself, for instance, right? I think I'm pretty smart. And I think I have a motor, right? Like I'm always pushing forward. And every time I turn around, I'm just like, again, can I catch a break anywhere? Over and over and over again. And that if I didn't have this, and we'll get into that story another day, this nature nurture corrective therapy where I project my entire life of good and bad as RHINO, and that I'm able to save myself in saving others, right? Like it's a deep story. But if I didn't have that, I probably would have thrown in the towel. I would have said, you know what? I'm talented. I could get $100,000 a year job anywhere. I'm making far less than that doing what I'm doing, and I'm working literally 24 hours a day. Like I literally walked out of my house while my son was crying because he's sick, because I know I had to go to work because RHINO keeps going forward. And my son will understand that, right? I spent all night with him, and his mother, my wife, is there, right? So he's not by himself, and his grandma's coming over. But there's a certain point where it's like, I just want to, let me relax a little bit. And that's just not in me. It's not. Like I'm allergic to that. And what I found out in this room is a lot of people are not only allergic to it, but that's where they're at in their lives. I think the common person believes that they've been taken advantage of. They do not trust anyone. An opportunity is seen as too good to be true because every single one has always been. And all they care about is what's in it for me. And I believe that if you offer someone what's in it for them and you speak their language enough, then they start realizing, oh, yeah, you've been giving me this, but I'm getting a little bit more interested. And now that I'm realizing how you're giving this to me and you're constantly offering me the opportunity to grow, this might be something I could grow within. And I think that's kind of the angle we have to go at. Because when we were doing our, warp speed, and again, all week we've been taking advice from our entire RHINO universe and putting it together. Like all day today, I'm going to be building those pages. I'm going to have my headphones in and I'm not going to know nothing about nothing. I'm just going to be working. But in building that page, the first page, which was leading with RHINO Street, was always your local community, 20 miles, search your community first. Why wouldn't you? And I'll tell you a secret, right? So I've always given everyone 100 RHINO bucks in their investor account just for joining. And I've never led with that because I never felt like I want to buy someone, right? I didn't want to be like, hey, I need you to opt in, I'll give you 100 RHINO bucks. Because it's a financial matter. I've been in the finance my whole life. I don't ever want to lead with finance. Money is a very special thing to a lot of people. So I've always given it like secretly, okay, they get their email, it says 100 RHINO and they're happy, right? Like, what's this RHINO thing? And it's always been my belief that what's this RHINO thing will lead to them saying, let me learn more. And then once they learn more, they'll see what it is we're doing and say, okay, great, I want to be a bigger part of it. That makes sense to me. But that makes sense to me. Does not make sense to other people. The other people that have gotten taken advantage of their whole life and don't have a bone in their body that believes something good's going to happen is 100 RHINO bucks. Like, could I go buy a coffee with this 100 RHINO bucks? That was a half New York accent that I stopped midway because I felt it was offensive. But, what can I do with this 100 RHINO bucks? In fact, if I was talking to New York, they would say something, I can't even wipe my tush with it, right? Um, so if we're giving something of value that the person actually not only doesn't realize is value, but finds offensive, that they don't even know what it is, and they're taking action to tell us they don't know what this is, it puts us on the defensive. Now we have to defend why we're giving them something of such value for free. In which case they're going to say, well, if it's such value, why are you giving it to me for free? What's the catch? And then in their heads, oop, red flag, I'm getting taken advantage of again. So we're doing it all wrong. The right way to do it is let's speak to them in their own language. RHINO Street, and this is what we believe it is, and you would be able to help us, and because you could help us, we're going to pay you to help us. This is what we're paying you in, and this is how it's valued. And although you may never want to own a business, and that's fine, I guarantee you know someone that's been taken advantage of, that if they had the support of their community, they would be doing well. And if you had this right here, would you support that friend? Well, now we're going to pay you to do it. And in fact, not only that, but if you go ahead and share the message with those just like yourself, we're going to pay you even more. And we're going to pay them. And you know what? Before you know it, everyone's going to be paid because we're going to be able to build this together. So thank you. And I believe that message, and again, that just came off the top of my head, resonates more. Okay, great. I'm going to get paid for this. I'm not doing anything for free. This is how it's valued. Great. Where the person could say, what's in it for me? Yeah, this is what's in it for me. I know what's in it for me. Now it's their turn to put up or shut up, right? I think that's how we get the person to opt into RHINO Street, which again is a free listing. It's not like we're asking you to, take a rocket ship somewhere. But on that next page, thank you for opting in. If you would like to participate even bigger with RHINO Bucks, you can join the $1 a week plan here. This is how it works. Opt in if you like. If not, cool. See you later, right? Like there's an email waiting for you. In which case that person now knows, all right, you know what? $1 a week. Hey, can I do $1 a week, right? Like I just did the New York thing again and I stopped myself. Everyone can do $1 a week. So I think if we message it correctly, we get more people in. Now, the point of all this is where is it going? Well, all of our RVPs that have 40 different countries, have their regions in place, have their contacts in place, are then going to share this with them. So we'll find very quickly what people feel of it, but we do think a lot of people opt in. We do think we'll get a sizable amount of new $1 plans. But more importantly, those that opted in are going to be in our email list. So the email we send out every morning, they're going to read. And of the email every morning, it's pretty straightforward. We tell you what's going on. We give you the updates on the numbers. You see everything for yourself, and you can make a decision for yourself. It's not a sales email. It's like an annual report, but every day it's a daily report. Well, duh, that's why it's called daily report. So I think that's a good alteration, right? So when Anthony's in jury duty, Anthony doesn't sit there and say, well, if I could like tie a rope, I would right now. It's no, what more can we learn? That's RHINO. It never stops. On that topic, while in jury duty, I felt like a child again because I got half-hour lunch breaks. I would jump online, and I know I'm 9 minutes over. I'm going to go to 10:21, so give me 2 more minutes, please. I jump on my computer, and it's funny because I asked the moderator, I put my hand up, like, can I please jump on my computer? Well, there's no internet in here. No, it's okay. I got a phone. I got a hotspot. Yeah, sure. And they look at me like, who are you, right? And it's funny because I put my AirPods in, and I'm like, and so going through my stuff, and I believe one of our rhinos actually emailed this to me, but I found it, let's say they gave it to me, right? It's around the same time. It's called ChatGPT, and it's this AI chat platform that I believe has Elon Musk in, has Sam Altman, where they are, you know when you go on Google and you type in something and there's that first suggestion, not the paid ads, but like the one in the gray print that actually gives you the answer in common speak. Like when you write, who's Albert Einstein? Google knows with a very, very high degree of certainty what you're looking for. So it's Albert Einstein was a famous German physicist, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Deborah's in the house. So they feel very comfortable that answer's enough. Like that you found what you're looking for. And they're right? Like that works. Chat AI is just that. The best part of Google is what this is. Now, if you think about it, Google has all of this information through millions and millions of servers that they've connected and built over the years that in a very, very quick way indexes all keywords of all pages, so that when someone types something, when you write Albert, it's pulling the Alberts, and now it's like Albert Einstein, Albert Frank, Albert Smith, right? And then as you type in E, then it indexes there. So it happens very quickly. Chat AI is that, but without the servers. It's actual artificial intelligence. And because it doesn't have all these servers and stuff, anyone could use it. Now, when I say anyone, you could get on a free trial, and then it's like a lot of money to go ahead and enjoy the service. But the difficulty, or at least the challenge with Rhino Street has always been, well, Anthony, I'm still going to use Google for stuff. And I always said to myself, of course I'm going to use Google for stuff. Like if I want to know the recipe for a chicken pot pie, like I'm not going to find that on Rhino Street. No listing on Rhino Street is going to be like, hey, we have a chicken pot pie recipe. That's not going to be common in every 20-mile radius. But if we go ahead and integrate this chat AI into our Rhino Street homepage, now you have the best part of Google, right? Like their whole platform is the best of Google. That's what they based it on. And if we could have the best part of Google in terms of everyone being able to ask questions at the same time that the only search results that come up are within a 20-mile radius, you actually are able, it's basically going to Google and saying, hey guys, I would like a version of your search engine. I want it to only show results for 20 miles. I want it to have no ads, no marketing, no revenue, no tracking. And I want it to have all of the information, all the databases, all the service that you've ever had available to everyone. Can you do that for me? And they'll look at you and say, what are you gonna go kick? Like, go kick rocks. Like, are you out of your mind? That is what we have right now. So I think there's a lot to do. There's still a lot to do. There's always a lot to do. But in terms of where we are, it's very good. Now, of course, that chat AI is not on the search yet. Maps, we've built into it. It's not live yet. Automations, for the life of me, I'm just going to say it every day. I really hope they're live right now. I got to speak to the head of that department. He had his house flooded yesterday, like, of course, like he lives in New Orleans or something. But all this stuff is near completion. And when it's completed, we do have the most powerful, the most sought after local platform ever. And again, you might think that's a bit hyperbolic, Anthony, ever. Well, challenge me, right? Like I don't know what would be stronger for a local community, ever. I just don't. And again, it's in the eyes of the beholder, right? So let me get to work. That's what I'm doing all day today. I have to build out that funnel. I think I do have to script a video because I'm probably gonna have to talk a little bit, but there's also AI stuff that allows me to superimpose myself and talk with my voice. So maybe I'll look at that. Have you thought about the contribution we'll be making to the reduction of carbon emissions and global warming by keep our search? Yeah, that's pretty cool too. Yeah, and we should actually share that too, because I think that is important. Thank you, Deborah. So let me run. I'm sorry this is a bit longer, but in all fairness, the last time we spoke was Saturday, and I don't know, like call me a stalker, but I really miss you. And if I didn't see you, I'd find you. Just kidding. If anyone just takes that one part out, like just kidding. But absolutely love everyone. And I will see you tomorrow, and go Rhino, right? Bye, everyone.